Hey, what's going on guys? It's Alex here from Simple Mods and welcome back to another video. Intel's new Kaby Lake architecture is finally here, introducing the new 7th gen Intel Core CPUs, and with that we have some new motherboards and I have the full ROG range here. Let's check them out. Alright guys, so I'm splitting up these videos a little bit, just taking a look at the individual motherboards. However, in this video I'm taking a look at the new ROG Maximus 9 formula as well as the Maximus 9 code motherboards, because these motherboards are definitely very similar with they pretty much look very much the same, other than a few differences which I will point out in this video. But starting off with the Maximus 9 formula, just show you guys what comes in the box. I'll put the motherboard aside for now. Just show you guys what comes in the box. So if you have seen some of my other videos, I am doing all of the ROG range. Now you do get the coaster, ROG coaster inside of these ones, so it's a nice Join the Republic QR code on the back, and then a nice Choice of Champions ROG coaster for that. And you get a ROG cable label, so these are just some stickers, so you can label your hard drives, your SSD cables, or whatever you might like. Just the color coding there. And then a cool thing that comes with all of the ASUS Z270 motherboards is 20% off Cable Mod store. So you get a coupon for 20% off Cable Mod cables. So interesting story. The actual photo in this coupon as well as the back one was actually taken by me, so it's definitely a cool thing to be featured in all of the motherboards, the ASUS Z270 range worldwide, with this coupon. So I will leave this in the video, so whoever grabs the coupon, feel free to use it. You do get the driver's manual and a nice little badge, so I should probably go and download the latest drivers off the website though, but it's definitely a good thing to have. And also you get the Maximus 9 formula user guide. So you'll have all the information you need in there about the motherboard, so that's definitely good. Just put that aside. Let's take a look at what comes underneath. Alright, so same with the other motherboard, it does support two-way SLI, so you get a nice clean ROG SLI bridge, and it's actually an NVIDIA SLI HB bridge, so it's a high bandwidth SLI bridge, so that's definitely good. It's nice and clean, so it's good to have. Further from that, so it does support different M.2 mounts. So this is a sort of more vertical M.2 mount. I'll show you guys that once I get to the motherboard. And you will get your CPU mounting installation tool. I don't quite use these, but if you are a beginner, then it's a good thing to have if you're afraid of bending any pins or anything like that when you're installing the CPU. And then that you get your Wi-Fi antenna. So this is one of those magnetic antennas, similar to what came with the older ROG motherboards. So you can sort of clip it to the case somewhere with the magnet, so it's definitely good. You get a ROG, just a front panel header. So with this, you can connect all your front panel cables to here before plugging it in, and then you can just plug in this one connector, making it a bit easier for you. Then similar with all these motherboards, you will get an ROG sort of like a RGB cable. So with this one, you can it does have an RGB connector on the motherboard that you can connect an RGB LED strip to, and with this one you can sort of extend that, so it's just an extension cable for the RGB connector. And then you will get 6 SATA cables, so you will get 3 of them are straight on both ends, and then the other 3 are straight on one end, and then the 90 connector on the other end. That's pretty much it. And then other than that, you get this nice sheet of stickers. So some of them are pretty nice, like these ones here. Yes, you could stick those on your fans or anything like that. Stick them on your case if you're into that, or you got a cool passport one or a credit card one, so that's definitely something cool and a nice addition. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of what comes in the box. Let's check out the motherboard. Alright guys, so here's the ROG Maximus 9 code motherboard. Now you'll find similar things inside this one. It's actually pretty much the same, except for just a slight difference that I will point out. So I'm just going to get the motherboard out the way. So of course you get the user manual again. I'm not going to go through all this, but if someone wants to get another Cable Mod coupon for 20% off, then you can go ahead and pause this video here, grab the coupon from there. So that's good. Let me just get this out. Now the only difference is with this one you get an I/O shield. With the other one you don't. It's because it's already integrated on the motherboard, so we'll show you guys that once I pulled the motherboard out. And then the only other difference is you only get 4 SATA cables rather than 6 that you get with the formula. So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna bring out both motherboards and we'll have a quick look at them. Alright guys, so there you have it, both the ASUS ROG Maximus 9 formula as well as the Maximus 9 code motherboards. Straight away you can take a quick look at these motherboards and notice that they look very similar. Now you will have the formula on the left and the code on the right. The quickest way that you can tell them apart is that the ASUS formula does feature the EK cross chill water block, so you can see the EK logo there. You can see the connectors, there's sort of your inlet and your outlet. It doesn't really matter which one you use as an outlet. But that's pretty much a quick way that you can distinguish them. And in terms of, as far as I can tell, that's pretty much the main difference between these two motherboards. So usually the formula was the more higher end motherboard from ASUS. Then you would get the Hero, just a step down from that. Now there is another one in between those two. You will get the Code, which will not feature the water cooling features that the formula will have. So that's pretty much the main difference between them. The other difference is, you'll see once I turn it around to the rear I/O, you will see that the formula does have an integrated I/O shield, whereas the code does not. And then also, let me just quickly turn this one around. You will see that it does feature the full thermal armor on the back as well, whereas the code does not, so it only features it on the front. So I'm just going to turn this one around as well, just to show you guys, so you can see it's just the bare motherboard on the back. So they're both of them are standard ATX size, and of course they are both featuring the latest Intel Z270 chipset with the LGA 1151 socket. So they both support the latest 7th gen Intel Core CPUs as well as the last 6th gen CPUs as well for both of them. Now in terms of the PCI allocation, so this does apply to both motherboards. It will be exactly the same. You will have 3 16x slots, so you will have a 16x, 8x, and then a 4x. So you can run NVIDIA SLI, so just 2-way SLI. And when you are running SLI, you will have the first 16 slot and the second 16 slot running at 8x both. And another good thing to note about those ones is that they do feature the reinforcing metal around them, so they give them just a bit of extra stability. So that applies to both motherboards. Now in terms of lighting features, ASUS do of course feature their RGB headers, so you can find one at the bottom here and another one at the top here, so you'll find that exactly on both motherboards. And then other than that, you will find that just this little area here lights up RGB on both motherboards. Of course the Republic of Gamers logo just across there on both of them. And now I know that another difference between them is the ROG logo lights up on the formula, but it does not on the code. And then also in terms of the PCIe slots, just the end connectors there, on the formula they will light up, whereas on the code it will not. And then also another thing that will light up, and I believe this one applies to both of them, if I'm not mistaken actually, by the looks of it, I'm just taking a quick look at it now. Again, it does apply only to the formula, just the start and reset button here will light up RGB as well, whereas on the code I believe it might not. So those are the main differences. Now with all the RGB features in terms of the RGB strip connectors and the features directly on the motherboard, you can control that with the ASUS Aura software. Now moving on, just another thing I haven't touched up on is the memory. So it does support up to 64 gigs of DDR4, of course running in dual channel, and both of them will support up to speeds of 4133 megahertz. So that's pretty much it with the RAM. Now it's very interesting in terms of M.2 support. You can see here on both of them, there's a screw here and there's this sort of cover area that goes over the heatsink at the bottom there on both of the motherboards. So if you undo the screw here, that whole entire section will come off, and then you will find your M.2 slot in there. So you will have your full 110mm M.2 slot in there. And then for your second M.2 drive, it is a connector at the bottom here. So on both motherboards, and with that one, it sort of mounts vertically out. So if you're looking at a motherboard while it's sitting down, I guess horizontally once you have it plugged into a normal case, but you get the point. So it's sort of, you get the M.2 drive sticking out, so you can plug that in just with that mounting plate that I showed you that comes inside the box before. So that's pretty much it in terms of the main features of the motherboard. I'm just going to go quickly over all the connectors. So you will have the 8-pin EPS at the top, so that goes the same for both. Then you will have just your fan connector there. You'll have your Q code readout. You have a start reset button. You will have your 24-pin, just your standard motherboard connector. Then you will have, just if you see here, there's a CPU, DRAM, VGA, and boot. You will have some LED indicators on there just for all that. And then just up here, RGB header. Then you will have your CPU optional and your CPU fan. And then just down here you'll have another fan and your AIO pump header. So for that one, it is good to plug in AIO pumps, such as the pump that comes with the H100 or something similar to that. So of course you'll have exactly the same on the other motherboard. So moving forward down from that, there is your new USB 3.1 front panel connector. So there's not many cases that will take advantage of this connector at the moment. However, there are cases that are coming out from Inwin and from Lee that will take advantage of this USB 3.1 front panel connector. So moving down from that, there is a, this is very good actually, a 90-degree USB 3.0 front panel connector. Then you will have 6 SATA 3 connectors. Now another thing to note with the SATA 3 connectors is when you're using an M.2 drive in NVMe or in SATA, with the slot that's on the motherboard underneath the cover, it will disable your SATA 1 slot. So that goes the same for both motherboards, whether you're running a PCIe NVMe SSD or a SATA M.2 SSD in the M.2 slot there. It will disable the SATA 1 connector. Now when you are running another M.2 from here, so whether you're running a SATA 1, it won't really affect anything according to what ASUS are pointing out. But if you are running an M.2 PCIe NVMe drive from this slot, on both motherboards, it will disable your SATA 5 and 6. So I'm guessing these are the ones at the bottom, so it will disable those ones. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that. So moving further from the SATA connectors, there's another fan connector there. And then similar to the Hero motherboard, you will find a temperature flow, a water cooling flow sensor, and then 2 temperature sensors. So one is for in and out, so you can measure the temperature of the coolant going into a component, and then you can measure the temperature coming out as well. So moving down from that is just your front panel connectors, just your M.2 slot. You'll have some more fans at the bottom, all the other front panel connectors such as USB 2.0, all that stuff. And then just lastly here is your last RGB header. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of the motherboard. Now I'm just going to turn them both around and I'll show you guys a quick look at the rear I/O. Alright guys, so here we are taking a quick look at the rear I/O connectors for both of these motherboards. Now you'll find that the connectors on both of them are pretty much exactly the same. Now the only difference between them, as I pointed out before, is that the formula will feature an integrated I/O shield, whereas the code will not. So let's just go over the connectors. So you will find your clear CMOS button just there. So it'll be the same on both of them. And then just your USB BIOS flashback button. So with this one you can actually put in a BIOS, whether it's the latest version, whether you just want to reset it, whether you've locked your BIOS or something like that. So you can plug it into one of the USB ports. You can press the USB flashback BIOS button, and with that it will sort of flash your BIOS without even having to have a CPU in there or having to boot into the BIOS or anything like that. So that's definitely a cool feature. Now moving next to that, you will find your Wi-Fi plugs. So just for your antenna, so both motherboards will feature latest Wi-Fi wireless AC. And then just moving next to that, you will find your DisplayPort 1.2 connector, and then your HDMI 1.4B connectors. And actually, if you can see, just this USB 2.0 connector there is labeled BIOS. So when you're using the BIOS flashback, you'll be plugging it into this USB 2.0 connector there. But of course, you can also use it as a normal USB whenever you're not using that feature. So you will have 4 USB 2.0 connectors, 4 USB 3.0 connectors, then you will have your Intel Gigabit port, then you will have 2 USB 3.1 connectors, so you will have one Type A variant and a Type C variant, and then just next to that is all of your audio connectors. So like I said, exactly the same on both motherboards. So those are the main features and differences between these two motherboards. So of course, I'm assuming I don't have any information on pricing at this moment at the time of filming this video, but I'm assuming that the code will be a bit cheaper if you're not after all the water cooling features and stuff like that, but you still want a motherboard with the nice armor that the formula has always offered. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank Thank you very much for watching this video. I'd like to, of course, thank ASUS for allowing me to take a quick look at this motherboard and give you guys a nice early look, close-up look at these motherboards. So make sure you check out all my other videos for all of the ASUS ROGs at 270 range of videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.